Dads in the UK are fighting for their rights. The right to be there for their new families after childbirth without having to worry about whether they can afford it. That's because statutory paternity pay here, just 2 weeks on less than minimum wage, is the least generous in Europe. Those first weeks after becoming a parent are to be treasured, but it's expensive and it can be an emotional rollercoaster. For Kerry, it was traumatic.
And suddenly I'm having to be whisked off into theatre, taken away from my husband, my newborn child. When we returned home, I wasn't feeling like I should do as a new mum, and they diagnosed me with postnatal depression. The thing I needed and wanted most in that time was my husband.
Just weeks later, Dan had to go back to work.
You feel as if you're not doing either job well. You can't help but feel stretched and feel like you're not doing everything. You're not doing either thing properly. You're not contributing at home enough. You're not financially. You need to financially contribute to keep your family afloat.
Dads here are entitled to just 2 weeks off work at a maximum of £187 per week. In Spain, they get 16 weeks off fully paid. And in Sweden, they get 34 weeks off on up to 80% of their normal salary. 62% of British dads say they struggled financially after their child was born, and 57% said that means they're reluctant to have more children.
So the European average is dads and non-birthing parents get 8 weeks at 100% of earnings. We think in the UK, obviously it's a challenging moment for the country, but 6 weeks at 90% of earnings would be a real start. That would mean most dads get a chance to really be there for their partners, really be there for their kids, and bond with their babies in those important early weeks.
I was able to not only bond more with my son, but actually be a better partner. I think people underestimate just how much of a serious medical procedure childbirth is.
There wasn't much information nor signposting for me as a man. I ended up taking those 2 weeks, feeling it wasn't enough. My partner was recovering, so it was really challenging. I feel like I missed out on so many memories.
The government is currently reviewing parental leave. So I asked one of the new ministers in charge if changes are expected. Do you think the government could be more generous for new dads?
Well, anything that is more generous has to be paid for. It has to be considered alongside other priorities like the NHS, like defence, like everything else. So I'm sure there's a good case to be made, but all of these things are choices and priorities and just have to be considered with budget making in the round.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said he wants the system to deliver for all working parents and that it's currently unfair on dads. But the review won't conclude until January 2027, so it'll be at least 15 months or 5 trimesters before the birth of any changes.